And when you get the qi flowing to the state where it's moving through your whole body, pumping you up, that's where you get the highest benefits, opening all the energy channels, improving your health, improving your energy, your vitality, your confidence, feeling more grounded, releasing anxiety. If everyone was doing this type of practice, I guarantee there would be no depression, there would be no drug abuse, there would be no wars. Hey guys, I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can manifest your ideal life. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified when I release new videos. Check out my new free energy upgrade course. There's a link in the video description below. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is Qigong, what are the benefits of doing Qigong, why would you want to do this, and what are some of the misconceptions and misunderstandings a lot of people have that are limiting their Qigong practice or keeping them from practicing it entirely. So this is something that I've been interested in for many, many years now. Nearly a decade, I have been very intensely involved in training in Qigong, practicing Qigong, learning Qigong, studying with various systems, learning dozens and dozens of forms. And it honestly took me several years to really understand, first of all, what is Qigong, how to actually make it an effective practice, what's true Qigong, and what's kind of a, it's a surface level, actually physical based practice, right? So Qigong is a term which was invented in the early 1900s to describe a practice that came from ancient China, which is known as various things. Some practices were known as Dao Yin. Another name was Yang Shen, which basically means nourishing life. So the term Qigong was created to kind of describe some of these internal practices that were coming from ancient China. So Qi is internal energy, life force, prana, Qi. Gong, as in Gong Fu, Kung Fu, it's a skill, it's a discipline. It alludes to time spent training. So Qigong is basically the skill in developing life force, the skill in cultivating life force, time spent training, cultivating life force, right? So it's a discipline, it's a practice, and this is actually a fairly broad term that can be a number of different practices. When I was first interested in learning Qigong about 10 years ago, my programmed, conditioned mind had a really hard time with this practice. I looked at the practice and said, well, they're doing these, slow motion movements with their arms, they're waving their arms around. How can this possibly be doing anything useful? In the time I was involved in yoga, yoga is a very kind of external practice, right? You're in these big postures that look really cool. You're doing these crazy stretches. You got your leg behind your head. It's like, oh yeah, things are happening in this practice. But Qigong is very, very subtle. You watch someone doing it and it makes you feel like you're going to fall asleep, right? It can be a very unexciting thing to look at. But the first time I did a full Qigong routine, I felt incredible afterwards. I felt very relaxed. I felt energized at the same time. I felt peaceful. I felt grounded. It was just this like steady state of balanced energy flow. I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. But my mind still had trouble wrapping around this whole practice of Qigong. So a couple years later, once I started to take Qigong seriously, I began practicing every single day, and I experienced some very profound transformations in my life and some very, very powerful benefits from my practice, including increased energy, heightened levels of focus and clarity, increased motivation, increased creativity, better health, better digestion, better sleep. The list goes on and on and on. But I will say that it took me a few years to really understand the difference between some of the less effective Qigong practices and how to make a Qigong practice really energy-centric, because as the name implies, Qigong is about Qi. Anything else is secondary, right? This brings me into some misconceptions, some misunderstandings that people often have about Qigong practice, and really, similar practices like Tai Chi and these other things as well. In my opinion, Tai Chi is an advanced Qigong practice, but 90% of people teaching Tai Chi are teaching a purely physical practice with almost no underlying internal energy cultivation. So as Qigong has kind of gained some momentum here in the West, as people are starting to learn about it, the modern mind starts to analyze this practice and break it down into what we think it's actually doing. So you'll often see people saying things like Qigong is a practice to circulate your blood and increase the oxygenation of your body, right? Or Qigong mobilizes the tissues. Qigong is therapeutic. In Qigong, you're simply moving slowly and this calms down your nervous system. Now, all of these things are true, but these are not the primary purposes of Qigong practice. And I recommend that these things not be your primary focal points for doing practice, or else your practice will be very limited. It's not about physical things. It's not about mobilizing your tissues. It's not about oxygenating your blood. It's not about calming your nervous system, though these things will happen as a natural side effect of your training. Qigong is about Qi, pure tangible electrical internal energy flow. Pure and simple, that is the primary purpose of Qigong. Anything else is secondary. One of my teachers uses this metaphor. It's like you have a Lamborghini in your garage, but there's no tires on it. There's no engine in it. You can't really take it anywhere, right? So it's like you have a fraction of what you could have potentially, right? But you're missing the big picture here. Another misconception I see is that this Qi force is imaginary, or that it can't really be tangibly experienced. It's something that's just kind of part of your imagination. Some people say, oh, it's actually just the fluid circulating through the body, or it's the breath moving in and out of your body. This is not true. Qi is a very real phenomenon. Prana, Qi, the life force. You can feel it tangibly. In fact, this is a way you know whether or not your Qigong practice is effective. If you do not tangibly feel the Qi in your body, then you either haven't practiced enough or your Qigong practice isn't entirely effective, right? Now, I will say this is something that takes years to develop, but within the first few weeks, you should have some sort of minor symptoms of feeling your Qi. In the very beginning, it will feel like this warmth, or like this tingling, like a vibration. You'll often feel it in your hands first, but that's as far as most people get. Even most, so-called masters who are teaching this stuff, they never get beyond this little bit of a tingling in the hands, which is a sign that your Qigong practice is limited. When you really get the Qi flowing, you're cultivating it every day, and you're consistently advancing in your practice in the system that you're training in, it starts to become very tangible, whole body experience. As tangible as if someone plugged you into a 10,000 volt battery. You would have no question in your mind that this electricity is going through your body, electrocuting you, right? It's the same thing with Qigong practice. When you're doing it right and you're developing, you're advancing through your system, the Qi flow starts to intensify. Now, it's up and down overall, but overall, it should spread beyond just this little buzzing in the hands to your forearms, become packed with energy. To me, this Qi feels like a radioactive, hydraulic, like lava moving through my body that's vibrating at the same time, right? It feels absolutely amazing. So again, in the beginning, I just felt it in my hands. As my practice developed, it started to spread through my arms, my legs, my dantian, the belly center, the whole torso, sometimes even the head's buzzing, right? This is what happens when you have a true internal practice. And it's unfortunate that a lot of the material that's out there from what I've seen, because again, I've been intensely studying, practicing, searching for, as much information as I can, as many practices as I can for the past decade. It's a shame to me that most people never get the true energy experience. They're just doing a physical practice. And why is this? Well, this is where we get into kind of a model that I think you can use to enhance your own Qigong practice. So this specific model I'm going to present to you, there's many ways of working with Qi, but this has been the most effective one for me. I learned this from Scott Meredith. He calls this the ARC. And I think it's kind of a great operating system for a true internal practice. So ARC, A-R-C, stands for accumulate, rebound, and catch, or activate, rebound, and catch, right? So the activate or the accumulate phase is sinking the energy down into the dantian. If you read some of the classics, you read the Tai Chi classics, other energy cultivation classics, they always talk about sinking the Qi. And this is something a lot of teachers just kind of gloss over, like, well, it's, you lower your stance a bit. That's not it. It's a deep internal release of tension. We have all this tension in our bodies, and if you're moving with tension, you're constricting the flow of energy. Your practice will be very limited or completely ineffective. This is another misconception. You see people, doing Qigong like this. They're lifting up their shoulders, like, okay, I'm imagining, I'm gathering this Qi, I'm feeling peaceful. That's great, right? You can get some benefit from that, but you're not going to get the true, deep, internal energy experience that you could be having from releasing this tension. So accumulate, you release all upper body tension completely and allow your mind to sink down to the dantian area in the belly. This energy starts to accumulate into the dantian. Eventually you feel it start to activate, starts to like cook, starts to bubble, vibrate, gets hot. These different, signs of your Qi activating there. The next stage, you sink it even deeper down into the earth. This is the rebound phase. So as you sink the Qi through the dantian, through the legs into the earth by further relaxing, further releasing this tension from your body, which is also known as sung in Chinese, S-O-N-G. Sung is basically this active release of tension, mental tension, physical tension. Most of us have way more tension than we need in our bodies. This is constricting our energy flow. So rebound, you release the Qi further down from the dantian, through the legs, through the feet, into the earth. It mixes with the earth's Qi and it rebounds back up. It starts to fill the body. It's like a spring. You drop it, it springs back up. You release your Qi into the earth, it mixes with the earth Qi, fills up your body. And this is the rebound phase, right? This is also known as Peng in the Tai Chi classics, P-E-N-G. They talk about this Peng energy, which is almost like this hydraulic fluid, kind of like an inflated tire. This is why if you've ever, touched hands with a Tai Chi master, they're completely relaxed, but you can't move them. They have this crazy chi pressure in their bodies. It's pretty profound if you've never experienced it before. So this pung is this earth chi filling up the body. And then the final stage is catch, right? The C of the arc. Catch is when you feel the chi in your hands. So there's all this focus about, the hands and the arms and Qigong that I see, right? But the truth is that the legs and the torso are much more important. The hands are simply the end of the terminal, right? The energy is moving through the entire body, starting from the legs, starting from the dantian, moving through the torso. The very last point it reaches is the hands. So if you feel the chi in your hands, it means you're successfully moving it through your whole body. And the more you can amplify that, the more it means this full body current is amplifying. And then you can start to extend it beyond just a little bit of a tingling in your hands, which is what most people only ever experience in their Qigong practice, to a full body, powerful, potent rush of 10,000 volt electrical chi energy. So it's an interesting model, right? And just by looking at that, you may see why certain systems you were working with weren't very effective. Like for me personally, I was studying Tai Chi for, 2 or 3 years before I realized, wow, I'm doing a completely external practice. I'm tensed. My arms are disconnected from my body. There's nothing happening in my dantian. This is just a physical practice. Once I started to work with this internal model and get the chi building my dantian, moving throughout my body, it blew me away how powerful this energy is when you get it moving. It completely changed my life. It made me obsessed about practicing with internal energy for hours a day, right? It became a very focal point in my life. And when you get the chi flowing to the state where it's moving through your whole body, pumping you up, that's where you get the highest benefits, opening all the energy channels, improving your health, improving your energy, your vitality, your confidence, feeling more grounded, releasing anxiety. If everyone was doing this type of practice, we all have access to it. We all have access to chi, but if everyone was doing this, I guarantee there would be no depression, there would be no drug abuse, there would be no wars, there'd be no bullshit control systems, because everyone would be a master of this chi energy. They would feel amazing connecting to this life force every single day, and they would be filled up, right? I think the reason why this is not the case is, first of all, obviously these, ancient practices seem very obscure to a lot of people, but also this is not an instant gratification thing. It's not like you do one practice one time and boom, you've got the full level chi activation. This is something that takes years to develop. You will make progress very quickly. You'll start to feel benefits, the first few times you practice, but to get that full body energy experience I'm talking about takes years of regular practice. And if you can't commit to that, then you're simply not going to get the results, right? But if you do commit to that, you will have access to such a powerful experience, such a powerful source of energy that nothing else can compare to it. No video game, no pharmaceutical drug or illegal drug, no one night stand can compare to this experience of being able to simply be in your body, activate this energy at your will, and feel the amazing effects of this chi moving through your body. It really is mind altering. It's a natural high, and that's why I love it so much. So there you have it. This is from my experience, not from theoretical research because I read some books, but because of what I have personally experienced, what I've spent countless thousands of hours for many, many years practicing very hard, developing this gong fu, this discipline within myself. I share what I've learned with you, hoping to inspire you to, begin to practice, or maybe steer your practice in a more growth-oriented direction, hopefully, is my intention, right? But let's face it, if you spend all your time listening to people talk about this stuff, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to practice to do it. So I offer you my free energy upgrade course. This is a free course which you can use to start feeling your chi and develop a daily practice to start energizing yourself and start to get this full body experience of energy. So there's a link in the description to that. Sign up now and get training right away. The world needs these practices. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Have a great day, my friends.